The manila envelope dropped onto my kitchen counter with a soft thud, but the sound seemed as deafening as thunder in the silence of my home. I recognized the handwriting instantly, my mother-in-law, Eleanor. Her precise, almost ornate script was a signature of control and judgment. I'm Olivia Harley, 38, a single mother to 15-year-old twins, Emma and Ethan, who are the heart of my world. For as long as I can remember, Eleanor has made it her mission to criticize every aspect of my life, my parenting, my career, and essentially everything I do. I've been a pediatric nurse for 15 years, working nights and weekends to give my children the best life possible. After my husband, Eleanor's son, left when the twins were just 3, Mark vanished into the corporate world, sending sporadic child support and showing up even less. But I've never let that define us. I've been diligent, setting aside money for Emma and Ethan's college fund, a gift to ensure they can chase their dreams. Every birthday, every holiday, I put away whatever I could. Every extra shift, every overtime hour has been part of building their future. What Eleanor doesn't know is that I've been keeping track of her interference for years. The passive-aggressive remarks, the sly attempts to undermine my parenting, the constant comparisons to her perfect nieces and nephews, I've documented it all. When I opened the envelope, I immediately sensed something was off. There were bank papers, official-looking forms, and a letter from the bank manager requesting a meeting about the kids' college savings account. My hand shook, not with fear, but with a simmering anger that had been building for years. The letter outlined an investigation into the account, sparked by a complaint from a family member, Eleanor, accusing me of being financially irresponsible and possibly misusing the money set aside for my children's education. She didn't, I whispered to myself, though I already knew the truth. Emma came into the kitchen, her ponytail bouncing, a basketball practice bag slung over her shoulder. "Mom, you okay?" I took a deep breath. "I'm fine, sweetheart, just some paperwork." But everything was far from fine. Eleanor had crossed a line, and this time, she had no idea what was about to hit her. I pulled out my laptop and began sorting through the files I'd accumulated over the years, text messages, emails, recorded phone calls, all carefully organized with timestamps, evidence of Eleanor's ongoing attempts to meddle in our lives. The bank's investigation was about to become her worst nightmare. My phone buzzed, a text from my best friend, Sarah. "Coffee tomorrow? You look like you need to talk." I smiled. Sarah had been my support through everything: divorce, raising the kids, dealing with Eleanor's endless criticism. "Definitely," I replied. "I've got a plan." What Eleanor didn't know was that I'd been preparing for this moment for a long time. She thought she was protecting her grandkids' future, but she was about to learn a harsh lesson about messing with a mother who had evidence. And I had more than just evidence. I had a carefully constructed plan to expose every one of her manipulative moves. The college fund wasn't just money, it was my kids' future, their dreams, and there was no way I'd let anyone, least of all Eleanor, jeopardize that. As the evening drew in, with Emma practicing basketball in the yard and Ethan studying in his room, I felt a quiet resolve. This wasn't just about defending our finances, it was about standing up to years of manipulation and showing my kids that we weren't victims. Eleanor had no idea what was coming, and I was going to make sure she'd never forget the lesson I was about to teach her. The coffee shop hummed with energy, but Sarah and I sat in our usual corner, speaking in hushed tones. "She actually tried to freeze the kids' college fund?" Sarah's eyes widened, her legal mind already processing the situation. I slid the bank papers across the table. "Not just tried, she made up a whole story about me being financially unstable." Sarah ran her fingers over the documents, her face hardening. "This isn't just family drama, this is financial harassment." What Eleanor didn't realize was that I'd been getting ready for this day for years. As a pediatric nurse, I had learned to be meticulous. My shift reports were known for their precision, and I applied the same attention to detail when it came to protecting my children. "I want to do this carefully," I said. "I don't just want to stop her, I want her to understand the consequences." Sarah nodded, pulling out her legal pad. "We'll need a full approach, financial records, communication history, proof of her ongoing interference." I opened a thick folder, years of meticulously preserved evidence, texts where Eleanor criticized my parenting, emails calling me unfit, voicemails filled with passive-aggressive remarks. "Remember when she told Ethan his science project wasn't good enough?" I asked. "I recorded that." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "You're serious about keeping records?" "Survival tactic," I replied dryly. "Single motherhood teaches you to be thorough." our plan began to take shape. We wouldn't just defend against Eleanor's attack, we'd fight back with precision. First, we'd gather detailed financial records, every overtime hour, every smart investment, every sacrifice I made for my kids' future. Next, we'd bring in the legal system. Sarah knew family law attorneys who specialized in complex situations like mine. She's not just interfering, Sarah muttered, reading through the documents. She's trying to control everything. By noon, we had a multi-step plan in place. Financial records would be collected, legal notices prepared, and most importantly, we would expose Eleanor for what she truly was. What she didn't know was that I had more than just paper evidence. I had recordings, screenshots, and a detailed timeline of her manipulative behavior. My phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. "Mom, can we talk about college visits soon?" The timing couldn't have been better. My children's future was exactly what I was fighting to safeguard. That evening, I sat down with Emma and Ethan. Emma, always sharp, immediately sensed something was off. "Grandma's trying to mess with our college fund," I explained calmly, "but we're going to take care of it." Ethan looked concerned. "Can she really do that?" "Absolutely not," I responded with certainty, "and I'm going to prove it." The next few days became a methodical process. Bank statements were arranged, consultations with legal experts were booked, and all the while, Eleanor remained unaware of what was heading her way. My mother-in-law thought she was protecting her grandkids' futures. In truth, she was about to learn the hard lesson of underestimating a determined mother. Sarah reached out to a family law expert, Maria Rodriguez, who specialized in complicated financial disputes within families. "This isn't just about money," Maria explained in our planning session. "This is about control, about undermining your authority as a parent." The evidence against Eleanor was overwhelming. She hadn't just attempted to meddle with the college fund, she had been subtly sabotaging my relationship with my kids for years. "We'll file a cease and desist," Maria suggested, "and we'll be ready to take further action if needed." As our plan took shape, I felt something I hadn't experienced in a long time: total control. Eleanor thought she was safeguarding her grandkids. She had no idea she was about to face the fiercest opponent possible, a mother who would stop at nothing to protect her children's future. The next move was critical. We wouldn't just defend, we would expose. "Are you ready?" Sarah asked as she reviewed the final documents. I looked at the photos of Emma and Ethan, their dreams captured in images of science fairs, basketball games, and quiet study nights. "More than ready," I answered. Eleanor's carefully constructed mask was about to collapse, and I was going to be the one to bring it down. The family dinner at Eleanor's home was supposed to be another ordinary Sunday gathering. A pristine table, elegant china, an atmosphere so meticulous it felt more like a showroom than a family gathering. I entered with Emma and Ethan, carrying my neatly organized documents in a professional leather folder. Sarah's words rang in my head: "Stay calm, let the evidence do the talking." Eleanor's smile was tense, her eyes scanning the twins, already looking for something to criticize. But today, things would be different. "Before we eat," I said in a calm, measured tone, "we need to discuss something important." The room's temperature seemed to drop. Mark, my ex-husband, shifted uneasily. Eleanor's husband, Robert, looked confused. I pulled out the first document. "These are the complete records of how I've managed the children's college fund." Eleanor's composure began to crack. "I was just trying to protect. You were trying to control," I interrupted, "and I've got the proof." The next hour was a systematic dismantling of Eleanor's manipulations, bank statements showing every careful deposit, recorded conversations of her undermining my parenting, text messages exposing her repeated efforts to paint me as an unfit mother. "You told Ethan his science project wasn't good enough," I said, playing a recording. Ethan's face flushed with embarrassment. Emma, normally quiet, spoke up. "Grandma, why would you say that?" The room fell into stunned silence. Maria Rodriguez had prepared us for this moment. Every piece of evidence was documented, time-stamped, and legally supported. "Your attempts to interfere with the children's college fund are financial harassment," Maria explained. "We have a complete file showing your actions." Eleanor's defense crumbled. Mark, who had remained silent until now, finally spoke. "Mom, what were you thinking?" The most crushing moment came when I presented the final piece of evidence, a detailed report from a court-appointed financial expert confirming my meticulous management of the kids' college fund. "Not only have I protected their future," I said, "I've grown the fund beyond what we originally expected." Robert, Eleanor's husband, looked ashamed. "Eleanor, What have you done? The legal implications were clear. A cease and desist order would be filed, prohibiting Eleanor from interfering with the children's finances in the future. But this wasn't just a legal win, it was about reclaiming control over our family's story. I always tried to protect this family, Eleanor stammered, her well-crafted mask crumbling. No, I said firmly, you tried to control it. Emma squeezed my hand. Ethan stood a little straighter. The most powerful moment wasn't the evidence or the legal victory, it was the unspoken understanding between me and my children. We were stronger together. Unstoppable. As we were about to leave, Maria pulled me aside. Be ready, she might retaliate legally. Let her try, I said quietly. The drive home was silent at first, then Ethan spoke up. Mom, how did you keep track of everything? I smiled. Always be prepared, sweetheart. Emma laughed. Sounds like something a mom would say. That night, as I helped them with their homework, I realized this was about more than just a college fund. It was about teaching my children to stand up for themselves, to document the truth, to protect their dreams. Eleanor had tried to ruin our future. Instead, she had made us stronger. The college fund was secure. My children's dreams were safe. And for the first time in years, I felt completely free. Some battles are won not with anger, but with preparation, patience, and unyielding love. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.